to be able to build that connection and help you on your journey. And one of the things that we focus on this show is helping you to understand the divine within, because most people don't realize that they are divine within. And the process for understanding that is the spiritual journey. So we talk about spiritual awakening, and we also talk about that awakening path where there are other modalities like, um, psychic readings, tarot card readings, numerology, astrology, that maybe perhaps were previously taboo, that really are okay and are in fact there to help you with your journey. So also, feel free to sponsor a show, be a guest on the show. If you know someone who would be a really great guest, in other words, someone who is very spiritual, and we have some great guests coming up. We have on the 17th, Miss Carolyn Dixon. Carolyn Dixon does an amazing job. She has multiple modality reading where she looks at not just tarot, but also there's numbers that are assigned. It's kind of like a spin on numerology. I can't really explain it that well. And then, and she has a way of doing that that was really insightful for me. And again, all these modalities, they're insightful for you, but you own it. And then on the 31st, we have Miss Asada Haki, and she actually is a metaphysical. I'm not sure she's metaphysical. She has a degree in metaphysics and has actually done a doctoral thesis on the Bible and spirituality. So that should be a really great episode as well. So, with that, definitely tune in. So, we were talking about my spiritual journey, and we left off at that place where I had I was at a second church where it was a little bit more closed and contained, more relationships, more technical in terms of the Bible teaching and learning, but still not spiritual. In the sense that I did not feel a connection spiritually. I felt like I was still just like this flesh and bones, and that's all there was to me. So I got married, and I had children, two boys who are wonderful. But one of the things that was challenging when I had those two boys was bringing them up in this world, in society, because what I discovered is that we lie a lot to children. We tell them about Santa Claus, and we scare them about what's going to happen to them if they're bad, and we do a lot of things that I just felt just didn't fit. And there were things like I've shared before about how Halloween versus Christmas was a big thing that I didn't really get. And I asked around to people like, how do you handle Halloween? And it was kind of a big thing. And then I did some study, and I realized that a lot of the holidays and things that we celebrate started out as pagan holidays. And so it just kind of put me into kind of research mode. Like when we talk about on previous episodes, I've talked to you about the spiritual awakening journey, how there's the glitch or the call to adventure, and then you identify and you choose a path that you're going to walk on, and the path of where you're just going to accept things where they are, or you're actually going to move forward in a different way, and then you actually follow the path at stage 3, and in stage 4 you kind of lose the path. Our guest last week, Rogelio Diaz, talked about that dark night of the soul, or that period where you lose the path and you don't feel like you know what you're doing. And then the fifth stage is when you are walking in it, you merge with the path, you feel comfortable and that in your spirituality, and you're doing the right thing for you. It's where you merge the path. So we talked about those stages. And so I was at kind of stage 3, in the sense that I knew something was a little off. Like I felt like there was something that I need to explore. I made a decision to explore more. And then I decided to follow the path, which was exciting for me because I was able to then I could connect with my spirituality through things like angel numbers, through things like synchronicities that I hadn't experienced before and I had not learned about before, right? So the question, can spirituality and religion coexist? Call in 248, I mean not 248, 313-777-3128, I believe it is. And let me know what you think. 3178. I think that's the number. So call in and let me know your opinions. I definitely want to hear your conversation on the topic as I continue. So when I when I started with the children to realize that things were off, we actually had been searching for a church. And I actually, most people don't know this, but we were searching for a church home because there was some corruption, even in my very close knit, very religious, very technically correct church. At the time, there was some corruption that happened there that we decided as a family we could no longer stay there. And so while we're in between, my son, my oldest son, my firstborn, we had been reading to them from the Bible since they were younger. He wanted to be baptized. He wanted to, make Jesus Lord of his life. So we actually ordered a pool, a little baptismal pool. I can't remember the name of the company now. But we actually ordered a pool and we put it in my green room. We filled it with water and we baptized him in our in our home. So I was that, I was still connected with the principles that I had learned um, in my religious experience, but I still wasn't 100% feeling spiritual. I still was flesh and blood. I didn't feel like there was a divine within me, like I know now. So as they began to get older, I had started to experience synchronicities. I tucked them under the rug a little bit because it weirded me out. This is at a point where I was afraid of a lot of things from a spirit perspective because I looked at spirituality as something separate from me. I looked at spirituality as something otherworldly from me. I looked at it as something spooky, weird, that I need to stay away from, which there is some of that in play. Okay, it's not completely wrong. But I didn't understand the power that I had as a divine being, a human spirit living in a body. There is many powerful things that I have access to that I wasn't connected with because I had just never been taught. So, can spirituality and religion coexist? In my opinion, the answer is yes, but it's not really set up to be conducive to coexistence because what I discovered later on is that it's kind of like a safe box that you're in. And so, when I was just fed up with the inconsistencies between religion and what I was experiencing in life. And I was fed up of feeling ashamed of some things that I would do. I just decided I wasn't going to be shamed anymore. I decided God sees everything anyway. So if God sees everything, then why not just do everything, do whatever, and just be like, hey, God, look what I just did, like you would with your kids, right? Your kids, when kids are little, they don't really hide anything from you. They just do whatever. Until they learn wrong, they just do whatever they do. Look, mommy, I just set this up. My sons, one time I left them at home, they were like, look, mom, we just set some stuff on fire in the backyard. And it was like, no big deal, right? So I thought, that's the way my relationship with God should be. I shouldn't have anything that I'm hiding from God. I should just be able to be me and then look at it as a learning experience. And so when I began to do that, I said, God, what is this all about? I don't understand. I don't understand the inconsistencies in my life right now. I don't understand um, I don't understand why things are, why the Bible says one thing and people do the other thing. I don't understand why my family is super religious but super broke, while there's other people over here who really are professed atheists or don't believe in the Bible and they're not broke. Why do bad things happen to these good people over here? Why you know, I don't understand how somebody can be here and not be kind. Like, are people born evil? Are people born good? What is going on? I want to know. And this is the first time that I really was able to make a connection between myself as a spirit being and God. Because when I began that journey, things began to be revealed to me that I had not experienced before and that I had not learned in my religious life, but were pivotal to me getting to know and love myself, which I had not done before. So, the challenge with this question of spirituality and religion is not can they exist? In fact, they are the same thing. Spirituality is a broader view, and religion is a subset of spirituality. And even though they are subsets of one another, the 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 component of religion that is considered to be part of spirituality, it's kind of boxed off. It's kind of like if you have a room in your house, like say spirituality is you have a big mansion and it's huge. It has many rooms in it, right? Let's use that analogy. It's like religion is like the foyer of the big house. And it's kind of like all the other rooms in the house are blocked off with a big yellow tape around it that says do not enter. And so you're kind of like in the foyer of spirituality, but and you know the other doors exist, and you just know you're not supposed to go there. And so to keep happy, you stay within the box and you never explore outside of the box. The challenge that that provided for me, though, is that even though um, you have the box and you know that the box is there, I didn't, I kind of wanted to see what was in the other rooms. And my learning, what I was shown spiritually, was that in fact, it was okay to visit the other rooms as long as you had the proper context for who you were as a human being. And given when you understand the true context for who you are, then you can when you understand the true context for who you are, now you are kind of graduated, and so you can begin to explore the other doors because they're all there for you. The mansion is all there for you. All of the rooms that are there, all of the content, all of the tools, they're all there for you. But you have to get to a point where you understand who you are. And if you don't understand who you are as a human being, then the best and safest place for you is in the box, is in that foyer, it's in that entry point to the mansion. And then once you get comfortable at the entry point in the mansion, in order to make any level of progress, you have to be able to understand who you are. So, with that, you are watching Temple of the Divine, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms on We TV World, where we experience and celebrate peace, love, and whatever. So definitely like, comment, share. Are you watching? Share. Share the video. Comment below. I know somebody has a comment about this. Definitely comment and click on notifications if you want to be a part of the movement that is just exploring and expressing and enjoying and appreciating the divinity of man, which is your birthright and is what makes you special and different from every other mammal on the planet. So, with that, oh, I forgot what I was going. Okay, so we're going to talk about why you're divine, because and how the divinity connection is required to be able to traverse the kind of the road between religion and spirituality, and what some of the pitfalls could be. So the first thing is that um, the way that you are determining your divine, well, let's go back. So in the religion environment, you have usually, regardless of the religion, you have a text that you follow as part of your religion. And it guides you, it gives you structure, it gives you guidelines, it gives you a community that you can be involved in. But a lot of times, what is missed, and I don't necessarily think it's the fault of, I'm not placing blame on anyone, but a lot of times what's missed is the responsibility part, right? So it's like you or I'll talk about myself because I'm the expert on me. Like I only know what I know. So initially, when I would go to church, my concept of church was you go and you listen to a lesson and you worship God, and then you don't really. I never really felt like I had any responsibility outside of reading my Bible. I didn't really understand that I had any responsibility for my spirituality other than just to read the Bible and to experience the Bible and to do what it says and to worship God, and I would do those things in the hopes that one day when I die I would actually get to meet Jesus, and then I would be able to benefit from all the things and all the activities that were part of my life up until that point. So, but I never had this concept or this view of responsibility. Now, I have been in some churches where they do talk about that. They say you've got to, read your Bible, and you've got to, look for your relationship. It's a personal relationship. I would always hear people say that, and so I think part of the problem is that people are just lazy. People are it's a lot of times I think people are lazy about their spirituality. I was lazy about my spirituality for a little bit. But and I don't even think it was conscious. I think it was more like I didn't know I was supposed to be more active, or and I remember at a point I remember feeling like, well, okay, I don't know how I'm supposed to have a personal relationship with God. Like I felt like I didn't know how to do that. So I think it's a little bit lazy in the sense that it's very easy to consistently not be aware of it and not participate. And also a little bit lazy in the sense that if it's not really promoted and it's not something that I need to make a part of my life, I just filled it with other stuff. And I think a lot of people do that. You just fill your life with other things because it's very easy to just kind of live in the construct of religion and not do anything more. What happens with spiritual awakening though is you can't do it anymore. I couldn't do it anymore. Um I couldn't just exist and um and not pursue knowing more about God, because I kind of, to be honest, I kind of got a little bit pissed off. I was a little bit mad because I was like, wait a minute. If God is so great, if God is all of this and I'm God's child, then I don't understand a lot of things. I don't understand why people acting like, are so fearful about everything. I don't understand why people aren't better off. I don't understand, you know, why we act like we're not the best thing since sliced bread. I don't understand the lack of confidence. I don't understand this deserve level thing. I don't understand any of this. And the answer is just pray about it. I'm sorry. I prayed about it, didn't work. But when I developed this relationship that I developed, where now I'm seeing, I feel like I'm being directed to different things, I learned something about you and I. And what I learned is that you and I, are divine. It's just like if a human being has another human being, you're the same, right? You're both human. Well, if a spirit if a spirit being has a spirit being, if God is all that is, which is my personal belief that, or knowing, or whatever, is it belief or is it knowing? Knowing is you know. A belief is you think you know, but you really don't have any evidence. So for me personally, God is all that is. I'll just say that. So when I understood that all that is, that means that I am in Him and He is in me. So if God is in me, and um, and God is spirit and I'm spirit, then that means that I should be growing. I should be developing. And if I'm not growing and developing and becoming more and better, then that means that there's something that's encumbering me. And what I found is with these different modalities, the psychic readings, the tarot cards, the healing, the numerology, astrology, all these things were designed to help me to connect with me and to understand my place in the world. So if you're in the mansion, I was in the foyer to continue with my analogy, and then I said, you know what? Um, I don't feel satisfied in the foyer. I think I want to go over there. And God, to me, was like, go on over there and check it out. I was like, really? Yeah, go check it out. And what I discovered, so my first journey was into meditation. And the way I was exposed to meditation is, well, I had been kind of on a spiritual journey path and just looking for ways to understand more about me. And then I discovered Sadhguru, who he's really popular now. Like, I don't know, COVID just really, shot off, right? But that was kind of like my first venture to say, oh, well, what's this about? So I went to the total, the 3 day total. And that was the first time I actually could experience what I felt like was a spiritual experience and a connectedness that I had never experienced before. And so at that point, I began to understand that there was more to me than met the eye, and there's more to you than meets the eye. But with it, up to that point in my religious experience, I had never, ever, ever, ever had anyone in probably 20 years share with me about meditation as part of my religious experience. Now, of course, we heard that scripture that said, meditate on the word day and night. Meditate on the word. Well, what does meditate mean? Just think about it. That was, okay. That's one thing you can do. Yes, you can think about it. But there's another, there are many, many different methods of meditation. But there's a meditation where you're just sitting and you allow yourself to be connected to Source, who is all that is, and God. You can let yourself be connected, and you can experience that connection. And when you experience that connection, you get wisdom. When you experience that connection, you feel love. When you experience that connection, you can feel that love, and then you begin to love yourself. I began to love myself because I felt the love that came from my creator, from all that is. But I had never ever experienced meditation before. And so in that um, experience, I really felt like, wow, there's this whole world. So that was kind of like the little meditation door. It's like, oh, wow, I can connect with Source. I don't have to go through somebody else. I don't have to be in church. I don't have to go to a religious leader. I don't have to go to a parent or a group or anything else. I think honestly, with the whole pandemic, I know there's been a lot of pain to come out of that. But one of the benefits that came out of it is that it forced people to slow down. It forced people to stop. It forced you to begin to reflect on your life. And a lot of times you probably, like what you saw. If you were married, I mean, I know the divorce rate was up. I mean, I wasn't married at the time, but I'm just saying, when you have something that stops you in your tracks, you have to look at yourself. And this is the part that was missing in my religious experience. What was missing is the tool and the way to heal myself and heal my heart. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't exist and it doesn't happen in religion. It does. But the but how it does is really dependent upon where you're at in your relationship. And no one can really help you with that, um, in the sense that they can't make you do it. They can't shake you and wake you up. That's something that you have to do on your own. And so once I began to experience that, I learned more things. For example, I learned that not only am I not this physical body, I'm a spiritual body, and I also have an energy body. And so those other doors in the mansion, there's a door over here that's right Reiki healing. There's a door over there that's tarot cards. There's a door over there that is numerology. There's a door in the front that, is astrology. There's another door that's about the earth and the essence, and there's a Wicca door, and there's other all these different doors in that spirituality mansion. Okay? And this is the one thing that you must know to be able to bridge the gap between spirituality and religion. Well, actually, two things. The one thing you must know is that you are a spirit, a soul. You're not this physical body. But the state of your soul does affect the physical body. In fact, everything that is going on in your life right now is affected by your soul and your spirit. Everything. For me personally, everything is affected. So before, when I would get, like, say I was sick, say I wasn't feeling well, or say I met someone, I had some trouble in my life. Before, I would maybe blame the person. Before, I would say, oh, it was something I ate, which it could be. But what I found is that many times it was something I was thinking. It was a way that I was perceiving something that was not positive, that was not true. And it caused, or it reflected, what's a good way to say, it manifested itself in my life as, maybe it was a stomach ache. Maybe it was, you know, um, a headache. Maybe it was whatever. But I found my personal experience is that when I was reflecting on things in my life, I could make a direct connection to something that was going on in my soul. But so the first thing you need to know is you are spirit. You are spirit. You have a body. You live in a body. But you are divine. You really are. And what does divine mean? It means you're a spirit, speaking spirit, and you create your reality with your words and your thoughts, just like God. Okay? The second thing that you must know when you tiptoe into the other rooms of the mansion is that you own it. You own your experience. You own the power. You see, these practitioners in the other rooms, they are only reading your energy. You have an energy body, okay? You go to a Reiki healer, they're using your energy, okay? They're using your energy is what is directing your path and your life and the way things, that's your energy. The challenge is that when you're not spiritually aware and you don't know that you have energy, then you can't make the connection. You can't see. But an enlightened person, an energy worker, they deal in energy. They can see and operate with your energy even when you can't. When you go to a psychic reader, okay? A psychic reader is going to tell you about your life based on the current level that you're operating at or that you are vibrating at. They're giving you a reading. It's a read. Okay? It's not a prophecy. It's not something that's permanent. It's a read at a moment in time. And so if it's a read at a moment in time, that means that you can change the outcome. But a lot of times, a psychic reader, and there are, just like there's good and bad lawyers and good and bad doctors and good and bad everybody else, there's good and bad spiritual workers, okay? But what the not so good, I shouldn't say good and bad, there's just good and bad is kind of like a label that I really don't like. Um, but I'm working through getting rid of using those. But the point is that there are some spiritual workers out there, say, let's use psychic for example, that want you to believe that what they're reading and what they're giving you is your outcome. Okay? Because if you believe that, you'll keep coming back. You'll keep coming back because you want to get another reading because you want to know what's going to happen next. But what you don't realize is that you determine what happens next. But it won't seem like it if you believe that that person, that worker, is really directing your path. You won't believe that you have control over it, right? But you do. That's the big secret. It's not a secret. Is that the reason why you go to the psychic and the psychic tells you something and then it happens? The reason why it happens is because guess what? When you go to the psychic reader and they tell you something, what do? You think about it the whole time. If you go to the psychic reader and say, oh, you're going to be sick. You're going to be really sick. You just need to get ready. You need to get your house in order. Then you're going to leave them and you know what you're going to be thinking about? Oh, I'm sick. I'm going to be sick. So I need to get my house in order. So you know what you're doing? You're speaking it. So it's going to happen. But guess what you could do? You could go to the psychic reader and they could say, oh, you're sick. You better get your house in order. You could be like, man, I must really be vibrating at a low level for me to believe that I'm sick and I need to get my house in order. I need to switch that. I need to look at some more positive information. I need to read a better book. I need to get around some better people. I need to stop, doing these things that are not serving me so I can change my vibration, so I can create a different outcome. You follow me? All of the rooms in the mansion are designed for you to help you on your journey. But they only work if you